Get free skins by participating in our daily giveaways and item drops. Play coin flip and double your skins. Battle with other players and win big jackpots. Get the most points in our leaderboard and win awesome prizes. Invite your friends and earn free coins. The best place to battle your Dota to skins. DotaToHunt.com.
What's up everyone, I'm Bowie, and today we're going to talk about RTZ's Terrorblade, and you can see it here. The whopping 90% win rate he has with Terrorblade right now, and we're going to talk about how he actually does it. And I mean, he's a great player, but there is a playstyle, there is a pretty much a recipe that he's going for almost every game, minus some tweaks that we will also talk about. And I want to show it to you guys. So yeah, let me just show you a couple of examples of his build. So you have threads into Sanjinyasha and Satanic, but this is not the greatest example of the build he goes for. The most common build he goes for is this one, threads Sanjinyasha into Butterfly. And I mean, we can talk about it. I'm gonna talk about it. I'm not sure if you guys remember, but I have kind of an old RTZ video about Draw Ranger before the new Draw, and I think she still has the evasion talent level 20, but it was a version of Draw that could get to level 20 and Butterfly at around 22 to 25 minutes, and that power spike was really strong. And basically, right now, the power spike he's using is the Butterfly plus the evasion talent, level 10. So you have 50% on a hero that has 1500 HP, 35 armor, and a spell that can switch his HP with the enemy. So do you see how strong the hero is? And that's pretty much the power spike that he's going for. But why the Sanjin Yasha, you might be wondering. Well, here's the thing. Yasha is just a really good item on Terrorblade, and it's just an item you want almost every game because it gives you the move speed so that your illusions can reach further distances, so you're actually getting more farm out of that. It gives you damage, it gives you attack speed, and damage and attack speed both go to your illusions, so it's just simple. It's just really, it's really easy to understand why that's good. But here's the thing. The power spike that Terrorblade had to rely on, and still has to rely on, was the 300 health talent at level 15. It's very similar to PL, in the sense that before you get to that stage, you're just super burstable. You know, you don't want to rush Yasha BKB as Terrorblade unless you're losing. So, going into fights is actually really, really hard. But at the same time, in this meta that is very fight-heavy, you have to use Metamorphosis a ton of times. So how do you solve that problem? Well, as you can see, RTZ is now level 15 when he already has the Butterfly, right? So how do you get HP faster than you get to level 15? Well, you get Sanjin Yasha. You're already going for the Yasha anyways. If you actually look at it, 16 strength is how much you get from Sanj. And, okay, I already have a calc here. It's 20 times 16, so that's 320, which is pretty much what you would get from your talent, but you're getting it much, much earlier, allowing you to join fights and win those fights, get objectives, and still keep farming. So you don't have to play this really greedy style of Terrorblade that only gets out of the jungle once you're level 15, which, you know, 21 minutes in not only in high-mar games, even in your games. If you just jungle non-stop, the game will be harder. You can get as many items as you want. If you're not using your ults, if you're not using your spells and joining fights eventually, you're always going to make the game harder, even if you're huge after you leave the jungle. So let's see when he actually gets the Sanjin Yasha in this game. He had it about, I mean, he was already level 10. Look at this. He gets it at about 13 minutes when he gets to level 10. Alright, so at this stage, he's getting the HP he would get from his level 15 talent. And that is really why the Sanjin Yasha is so good. It allowed RTZ to join fights, it allowed RTZ to not get ganked. So in this game, for instance, he's 1 in 9, but he's yet to die, and he dies very little in these games, because the status resistance combined with the HP this early makes him almost ungankable, because you're actually pushing at least 2 waves at the same time with your hero and illusions, and thus it's just really hard to collapse onto you without a smoke gank. And that is one of the big reasons this build is so powerful. Now, another thing we have to talk about is the reflection changes. Now, with the move speed slow going from 20% to 25, if you consider the average move speed of a hero to be 380, the extra 5% means 20 move speed that you're actually taking away from enemies, right? And that allows you to skip your move speed talent, which used to be really good. It allows you to farm more, but the strength of having the evasion talent alongside his early butterfly that he goes for almost every game. I mean, people are gonna say that that I'm exaggerating. So I'm gonna show you. So we have Sanjunyasha butterfly in this game. We have Sanjunyasha butterfly in this game. We have Manta in this game, and this is actually very rare. He was against the Puck. This is usually one of the rare occurrences of seeing the Manta instead of the Sanjunyasha. Another change that we saw was actually the Satanic I showed in this game right here. And the reason he goes for the Sanjunyasha Satanic in this game is because he's against a Legion Commander plus Snapfire. So the only way you can survive a dual plus Numerous Kiss is max status resistance, and even still it's a little hard, but that is probably the only way. And this is another one of the change-ups that you see, but most of the time. So we have it here. He did go for a BKB in this game, and obviously it's going to depend a little bit on who you're against and how good of a game you have. So we see the Manta in this game, and he's against the Skyrift Mage, so the long duration silences are usually the only thing that ends up pushing RTZ towards the Manta side of things instead of the Sanjunyasha. But still, he gets the attack speed and the evasion talents in every single game. Here we see a Manta again. Was he against a silenced? He was against time dilation here. Alright, that is different. But again, Sanjunyasha, butterfly, evasion talent, and attack speed. Evasion talent. He does go for health, even though he has the Sanjunyasha butterfly, huh? Interesting. I wonder what he was against. Okay, Storm plus Tiny, just a ton of burst damage. But, very rare occurrences. In general, the recipe he's going for almost every game are these ones we talked about. And it's just incredibly powerful, because once you win one fight, and, not really that hard to win a fight, when you have 50% evasion, you're really hard to kill, and you have all of this at extra attack speed. That's really the beauty of Terrorblade as a hero, and probably why RTZ rarely loses with it. As long as you win one fight, you can get 2 lanes of barracks, 1 lane of barracks. You can solo Roche because of your insane move speed, and that's another thing that the old Drow Ranger was able to do very reliably as well. I mean, that is really most of the things that allow Terrorblade to be good. And I mean, Terrorblade is a decent hero, but if you check every other player trying Terrorblade out, they don't have nearly as high as a win rate and as many games as RTZ has with Terrorblade, which, probably showcases something about why this build he's going for is so it's so, I guess, consistent. In the look at this, the status resistance allows him to get the Sunder off. He is literally unkillable, pops the Sunder, and this is not even that high of a net worth advantage. It's about 5k. He dies here, but they win this game shortly afterwards. You can see this game was really, really short in terms of duration, and that's really what makes Terrorblade this strong. The changes of talents, and now this very high on evasion talent. I mean, when you think of the heroes that are the carries that are really popular now, your PLs, your Nagas, your Slark still relatively popular. We can actually see here what are the carries with the highest pick rate right now. Let me check. Alright, so you have PL, you have Morphling, you have Riki. Evasion is just good against almost every carry that is popular. Even Wraith King, Usually a pretty decent hero versus Terrorblade because of his Radiance build. he doesn't do anything about against Terrorblade, because 50% evasion, there's no way in hell that a Wraith King is gonna have Radiance MKB at about the time that this Terrorblade gets into this power spike, right? We saw that RTZ was... When does he get the butterfly in this game? It was about here, so 21 minutes. Usually the Wraith King is gonna get his Radiance at like 17, maybe if he has a really good game, 15. But getting into an MKB this fast, and he can even have the MKB, he's still dealing with a ton of illusions. And, you know, without a Blink, without a BKB, he might just get destroyed by the Terrorblade before he can even start hitting the main one. And yeah, it's just, like, Terrorblade didn't change. I don't feel like making a complete guide on a hero, because he is a pretty straightforward hero. He's kind of like AM. You know, you just push 2 lanes at the same time, you get your items, you join fights at the right time, and hopefully with Metamorphosis, you're going to be able to turn the game around and win it. And that's really what I wanted to talk about. I just looked at his win rate, and it was really impressive, so it just felt like a hero I should highlight, and not only the hero, but the playstyle and the power spikes he's using. And yeah, he actually ends up going for the Abyssal Blade item here. I think it's actually really good. Not only you have a mobility spell against the Mirana, that's a pretty hard to catch hero, Ember, Ursa. Sometimes what you actually need for Terrorblade is like control. It was not that unreasonable to see Terrorblades going for Sights of Vice sometimes. Even Nagas go for it from time to time. And Abyssal Blade is now such a good item on a lot of heroes, you know. A lot of people are still going for the Scotties, still going for those items, and they're not bad per se. But I mean, you can see here how tanky he is. And now that you get these evasion build, having HP just scales much better, because evasion plus HP scales immensely. And it, you know, just allows you to take fights much better. You do lose some move speed when you get your Metamorphosis form, so having the mobility and the ability to stun people just allows Terrorblade to do a ton. Let's see if he actually turns the fight around. I mean, I think he got like 2 Searing Chains into 2 arrows. He got a Shackle shot, but you know, not really not really easy to bring this bad boy down, especially after the level 20 when he gets the 10 stats talent. Which is probably what you want to get most of the time. I think you only get the reflection cooldown talent against your Lunas, you know, heavy aura teams like maybe a Beastmaster, maybe Lycan. I don't think Lycan is actually that good, because the reflection doesn't slow him for most of the time. But, you know, Venge, Luna, and you just win the game. You have insane damage on structures. You have a ton of illusions. And that's why this hero is so popular. You just need to win 1 or 2 fights, and you can pretty much go straight up for Ancient. This is really similar to the Drow we were talking about, I think like 6 months ago, probably. You can check Dota 2 Pro Tracker and see all of the games that he played. There is a ton to learn there. I might actually make a video talking, you know, things I learned with RTZ if I find something concrete that he's doing different that I think I never saw or never talked about in any of my videos. You know, it felt kind of wrong to just make a video to talk about the Sanjay Yasha and some talent changes. So I think this is much more concise, and it showcases to the point what I wanted to talk about. Thank you guys for watching. If you want this channel to keep growing, make sure to check our Patreon rewards and see if any of them interest you. If you're interested in coaching, you can follow me on Twitter and DM me there to get all the information about it. And you know, if you want to know what's going on and what I'm doing, you can also find me on Twitter to you know, talk about Dota and stuff like that. Thank you a lot for watching. Have a good one, guys.